got cystic fibrosis. See, I've got cystic fibrosis.
Wow, I can't believe it's been just about a month, I think, since we last posted one of these videos. A lot of great things have happened. The Washington Capitals won the Stanley Cup playoffs. My oldest son just turned 8. Both boys are almost finished with school. One is, and one is almost. And we're ready for the summer. But this week, we are going to talk about building back up from hospital stays. Now, for me, it has been almost 11 years this August since the last time I was put in the hospital for CF. I have had numerous IVs since then over those 11 years, but everything has been at home. Now I've gone into the hospital for an outpatient procedure for a bronchoscopy a couple years ago, but other than that, I've not been in for an extended period of time on IVs or anything like that to treat CF. Because one of the things I love about my care team is, for me, hospital is sort of a very last resort. Since I have 2 kids and I work full time, I try to do as much of that at home as I possibly can. And so most of my IVs, or all of my IVs over the past 11 years, except for my hospital stay, have been at home. And 11 years ago, when I came home after the hospital with a home IV, that was the first time I'd ever had IV antibiotics at home. So for me, building back up from a hospital stay, it's been a very long time since I've had to do that. But I do a lot of times have to build myself back up after home IVs. Obviously, when it usually comes to home IVs, unless it's just sort of a clean out or, tune up type of a thing, you lose sort of a lot of energy because those antibiotics are very taxing and you're not exercising on a regular basis. Maybe because you've got an IV in and you're constantly hooked up to medicines most of the day, it feels like. And so once you get off of that, you've got to regain your energy, work on getting better sleep and exercising again, and then just try to get back into your normal routine. And for me, building back up from a hospital stay really boils back down to pacing yourself and understanding and reminding myself that it's a process, that after I've been on IVs for 2 or 3 weeks and I haven't been feeling well and I've been up at odd hours through the night with IV antibiotics and not being able to exercise as regularly, that even though it's only been 2 or 3 weeks, you lose a lot of that stamina and that energy that you had beforehand. And it takes a while to get back up to everything, not just through exercising, but working full time, going 100 miles an hour with my kids, doing, a full weekend's worth of activities. It's all sort of this process that takes a little bit while to get back to that way. And it's hard for me to remember that I just went through this 2 or 3 week period where I wasn't doing as much and I was really trying to focus on getting my body better, and the energy it takes to do that, it's hard on the body. And so I always have to remember that it is a slow process and it will eventually get there, but that I need to take it step by step and day by day, right? So if it's exercising, it might be, 10 minutes the first day back, and then the next day maybe it's 12 minutes, and then 14 minutes, and then 16 minutes, et cetera, until you get back up to wherever you were, 30 minutes, 45 minutes on an exercise bike or running or lifting weights, whatever that is, that eventually you get yourself back there, but you may not be able to do it right out of the gate. And like I said before, that's tough because you do want to hit the ground running a lot of times. And when you do that, or when I do that a lot of times, I find that I just exhaust myself again. And I either potentially get sick, or it takes me even that much longer to recover because I don't have all of that energy that I had beforehand. So that for me is it. For me, it really sort of comes down to this one part about pacing myself and really telling myself that I need to slow down, and that if I continue to work at it each day, I'll get back there, but that it may not happen right away. And that's the hardest part for me about doing that. But when I do take that time to sort of sit back and slowly get back to where I was beforehand, that I notice I get there. And that's what that's sort of my one piece of advice, is to not get frustrated with it, and to know that as long as you continue to work at it, you'll get there. It may take a couple of weeks, it may take a month, it may take a little bit longer, but if you stay with it, it will get there. And that you don't need to come right out of the gate at 100 miles an hour. It's okay to be a little slow at first and ramp yourself back up there. So with that said, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. Enjoy summer as it slowly starts to take shape for all of you. And I can't wait to talk to you again next week. Take care.
I got cystic fibrosis. See, I've got cystic fibrosis.